We now return to Let's Play Shadows of New York. Let's check out some of the new things here. The Anarch movement, loosely organized political outsiders. Okay, the Baron, a powerful anarch, basically a warlord. Barons are often up-jumped licks who have strong armed their way into control over a building or even a city block in New York City, especially in Douglas Callahan's case. It often seems suspiciously like a form of traditional governance. And the traditions. Just in case we forgot, don't let anyone figure out you're a vampire. Domain. Respect domain. Third tradition, progeny. Can't do that. Fourth tradition, accounting. The sins of the father and all that. Fifth tradition, hospitality. Again, be good and own domain. The sixth tradition, destruction. Only elders can kill. Alright. Let's continue. We're here. She thanks the chauffeur and lets me out of the car into a quiet neighborhood somewhere in Queens. It seemed like you were in a rush. I couldn't stand the crowd. She's honest, probably performatively so, just to get into my good graces. Well, it's working. Why is that? In my experience, gatherings like those always enable a boring pack mentality, all the familiar lies we tell ourselves to justify lusting for more repeated ad nauseum. Yesterday you said, speaking of lies, you seem honest, but yesterday you told me not to rush. And I stand by it. Do as I say, not as I do. That's the best advice I can give you. I definitely need more advice than that. Back at the art hole you said something about guiding me, but I have zero idea what to do. None whatsoever. I had a few necessary arrangements to make over the phone before we got here to ensure your pretty little head stays attached to your neck. For now, anyway. I'm grateful, but I still feel way out of my depth. I need to know what to do. You used to make a living as an investigative journalist, did you not? Investigate the murder. In TV shows where an investigative journalist gets too close to the heart of a politically incendiary case, it rarely goes well. The cat's head on their porch, a bullet to the head, pushed off a train platform. So are you afraid you might be a pawn in a game you don't understand? That your elders consider you a disposable asset? That a single wrong move might cost you everything you hold dear? That sounds about right, yeah. Well, by the sound of it, you don't understand your situation perfectly. Or you do. You understand your situation perfectly. Let's screw this one up already. Don't belittle me. I need your advice. Be anything you want, but don't be boring, Julia. If I wanted to belittle you, I would have drowned you in platitudes long ago. Know thyself. Believe in your strength. Trust no one. Act confident. Turn the chessboard around and read your opponent's mind. Read Sun Tzu, and quote him incessantly. Say, do you feel any better now? Can I ask you something? Seeing as Mia is still not here, of course. Do you know who killed Baron Callahan? I haven't the slightest idea. Were you emotionally impacted by his death? Not at all. Did you know him? Only passingly, I'm afraid. I expected him to perish sooner than later, so I never bothered to improve our relationship. Why are you helping me? Am I? That remains to be seen. What do you mean? You do not want a painfully honest answer. But I do. She stares me down. Her irreverent tone makes it impossible to guess what she's feeling, even more so than the mask. When I look at you, I see someone pitiful. Someone whose hunger is purely biological, just an animalistic rush. When I saw a burgeoning plan to put you in a situation that is way beyond your capabilities, I offered my help. I was curious to see your true colors reveal themselves firsthand. When everything is said and done, and Callahan's killer is pointed out, will you be a whimpering animal, or a victor taking the spoils? I cannot wait to find out. I don't know what to say. Is she provoking me, or... Mia should be here any second. Do you have time for one more question? Well, we'll find that out. What makes her important? Why do you hide your face? Is she partially Nosferatu? How can you be partially? I guess what makes her important? We don't really know what she is, what her role is. I mean, we could find this out. What do you do that holds so much sway over the city? have the best occupation in the world, and I made sure nobody is better at it than I am. And that occupation is socialite. And that was your last question. Technically, too. Direct the rest of them to her. A woman around my age emerges from around the corner of the street. Is she the chick from the club in the previous game, or have we seen her at all? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, no. Doesn't she hang with the... I think we have seen her before. This is all I can really remember. I've never met her before, but if I had to describe her in 2 words by her aura alone, I'd guess those words would be permanently angry. Even more so than your average anarch. You must be Catherine Weiss. And you must be Mia Morgan. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. The pleasure's mutual. This your girl? Julia Sawinski, the Lasombra Primogen. The Lasombra representative. I correct her automatically. At this point, it's a habit. Good. If you were a Primogen, I might have to try to kill you here and now. Is Torque still on the site? Torque is dead. Nah, I told him I'd take it from here. Didn't Torque die? I guess we got attacked in his bar, right? By the end of tonight, he needs to look like a natural candidate for leader of the New York City Anarchs. It's going to take a lot of driving around in negotiations. Right. It was something to do with they all fled on the island when we were there, right? How did he react to finding Callahan's remains? He hasn't exactly elaborated on his feeling, but I expect he reacted the same way every true believer in the cause did. It's this complicated mess of all the possible feelings under the moon. So he was the first one who was at the murder site. Oh, so you're already calling it a murder site. Does the Ivory Tower know something we don't? It's not the official position, but I expect a lot of them think it's Torque who stood to benefit the most from the boss's death, and it sounds like he's quick to jump on new opportunities. I don't know him. You don't know him. We don't know him. Who the hell is Torque? Yes, but I'd love to meet him and ask him some questions, especially if he was the one who found the body. Well, if you're meeting Torque at all, it won't be tonight. He's too busy. I was assigned to investigate. I won't be able to do it properly if I'm not able to question a key witness. I'll arrange for you to see him this week. This week? Aren't the tensions a little too high for delaying an investigation like this? Well, Torque's work is our best shot at making sure they won't get higher, so boo fucking who. I'm his right-hand woman, though. You got any questions, direct them to me. Maybe the 2 of you should just head to Callahan's office. The discussion here does not seem to be going in the right direction, nor in a particularly interesting one. You're not coming? Torque and you are not the only ones who have their work cut out for them tonight. I trust you can take it from here. And Mia, be easy on her. In slightly different circumstances, I expect the 2 of you would have ended upon the same side of the barricades. Uh-huh. Take care. She heads back to her vehicle. Well, follow me. I'll show you the place. It's a 19th century style office. Classical, wooden, smelly, the stuffy air of books, old furniture and dust covers. Much of the fragrance of decay, but not all of it. This is the first time I've seen the remains of a vampire who has met final death. I heard stories of really old kindred crumbling to dust, but that's an exaggeration. At least it didn't happen here. When kindred die, time catches up with them. If you offed me right now, I'd probably turn into an ugly, leaky corpse. But Callahan was well over a century old. It's like looking at a dapper mummy. A desiccated body in a heap of musty clothes. All that is left of the mighty boss Douglas Callahan, Anarch Baron of New York City. If that's really him. Needless to say, it might be a little hard to establish the time of death or the cause, especially as his garb doesn't have any obvious damage. What a great place to start. Have you already found anything suspicious? Nothing you don't see in front of you. Uh-huh. This door is the only point of entry to the room, right? Yes, unless you count the windows, but nobody except for Callahan knew how to operate those, and they don't let air or light through. Metal blinders on the windows facing east, the only modern element of the room, sticking out like a sore thumb. They look automated. Was the door open when Torque got here? Well, that's the one suspicious thing. It wasn't. It's as if Callahan locked himself in from the inside. A closed room murder, huh? There's some glass scattered on the floor. I point at it. Could that be from the window? I checked it from the outside. It's in perfect condition. So what's this glass? I have no idea. Why does it seem like she has her suspicions, but is remaining uncooperative just because, fuck off, Camarilla. I check the next point of interest, a wall safe, surprisingly large. I play with the lock a bit. What's the combination? It's Callahan's. What makes you think I know? At least I tried. A desk with nothing but an envelope on it, nothing inside. I check all the drawers. Every single one has been thoroughly emptied. I don't know what I expected. Is this how the anarchs go around securing crime scenes? Were these emptied before Torque arrived? I don't know. I wouldn't accuse him of tampering with evidence if I were you. Well, thank you. The decor of the room is pretty minimal, so there's not a lot of points of interest that could illuminate the case. I start getting nervous. I point at the painting on the wall. Of course, you have no idea who that is. Callahan's ancestor, I guess. I'm out of ideas. Everything I look at feels like another dead end. I'm frustrated. I feel as if I failed this investigation before it even started. There must be something more. I start walking around trying to find a single clue. Mia just watches me indifferently. Give me anything. Anything, goddammit. Anything. Any... Spooky ghost lady. A shadow blinks in and out of existence near Callahan's remains. I freeze in place. Are you trying to help me? What are you mumbling about? In case you missed it, I'm not particularly fond of your sect. Doesn't seem like Mia noticed it. Give me just a moment more. She groans under her nose and goes back to messaging someone on her phone. When she does, the shadow appears again. Once again, blink in, blink out. Could something be here? I approach the clothes and start searching them for a clue. Maybe they missed something. Getting desperate, huh? Just being thorough. We searched the bastard like 3 times. He had nothing of interest on him. How about this? A small card, barely noticeable, looking a bit like a shopping list, shoved deep in his... shopping list shoved deep into an almost invisible hole in the fabric. I take it out and show it to Mia. Ah. You didn't plant that there, did you? Oh, did you? Shove off. What's on it? It's a list of 4 names. Angelo, Hope, Agathon, Tamika. Any idea what this is about? Beats me. She's lying, but I don't care. Tomorrow night I will meet up with Kadir and ask him to help me figure it out. I think I'm done here. So do we get a crack at the same 4 companions as the last game, then? Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Guess she sees me as nothing more than an enemy agent. When will I get to meet with Torque? If, and that's a big if, he will agree to meet you on a 1-to-1 basis, Catherine will let you know. He probably won't let a loyal Camarilla lapdog like you see him without her oversight anyway. Camarilla lapdog, huh? It's a risky play, of course, and might backfire, but maybe I'd benefit if I put my loyalty to the court into question. Well, that is kind of what they were talking about, right? Camarilla lapdog? I don't think so. Well, aren't you? Trust me, I'm not the type who bites the hand that feeds her, but the court's favorite pastime is leaving me starved. Ah, so it's like that, huh? Yeah. A trait? I have a trait? She studies me carefully. I will keep that in mind depending on how the situation unfolds. Good. In the meantime, have a good night. You too. It's getting late or early, depending on how you look at it. Once I leave Callahan's office, I head straight to Dakota's apartment. I try to sneak by to my bedroom, but she's up waiting for me. How's your night? Shit. Tomorrow. What happened? You look like something the cat dragged in. Tomorrow, I promise. But I'm worried. Don't be. Tomorrow. She gives me a concerned look, then closes her eyes, slumps her shoulders, and frowns. All right. You're the best. I reach my pitch-black room and throw myself onto the bed. The responsibilities, the stakes, the way I always feel too slow to react properly to these situations. I don't want to think. I want to turn off this brain. I want to drift into the void. Into the void. Into the void. Into the void. Okay, well, shit. Why would it give me the option to go talk to this guy if we have to rest? The hunger. Okay, we already know about the hunger. Well, I guess we'll just rest and continue on. Otherwise, it's going to be a really short episode. I feel like, unlike the previous game, which was very nicely bite-sized for each section that you were going through. This game just kind of spreads all over the place. Like I said, it still feels very much like just a story we are drifting through, mildly interactive at times. I want to know where I can see my traits. It's weird. Like, this is just a dictionary. Anyway. Tutorial! You have received your first trait. Okay, well here we go. Some choices in the game will push Julia towards different ways of thinking, which will have a lasting effect on her throughout the story. You will see a brief pop-up on the top of the menu screen anytime you receive a new trait. You can always view an unlocked trait in the log screen, accessed through the top left icon. Remember that ruthlessness is the mark of a true Lasombra, but you might walk another path before reaching that destination. Loyal only to myself. Okay. Dakota. I always told you you'd make it big. Get real, these assholes are just using me as a pawn in some stupid fourth-dimensional chess game. As opposed to just keeping you off the chessboard. Don't be a glass half-empty buzzkill. Watch them make me a scapegoat or something. That would be exciting. I could write a book about living with a 21st century Lee Harvey Oswald. Come on, don't even joke like that. I haven't killed anyone, yet. Julia, honey, neither did Oswald. Yeah, right. I keep forgetting. Stop wriggling or I'll mess up your face. Sorry. I'm always obedient when she's busy working on my makeup. It's hard to take care of your appearance, especially your face, when you can't even see yourself in the mirror. Not that I've ever been particularly good at it, but Dakota doesn't seem to mind. I'm her goth dress-up doll. Her presence in my unlife is one of the few good things that my sire provided for me before fucking off to Chicago. Normally, I'd be told to find myself a ghoul, but many of our clan, myself included, find the idea of ghouls distasteful. We're cat people, not dog people. We don't want mindlessly faithful servants. We want companions who rely on us, despite having, in theory anyway, the free will not to. The kind of relationship I have with Dakota would normally be a breach of the Masquerade's rules, but the rules are different for kindred who are Camarilla adjacent, even losers like me. Simplifying here, but my sire made it clear that her child would not own slaves, and that was the end of the discussion. To be honest, I think the court mostly agrees to that request because they wanted one more thing to blackmail me with, just in case. What would you do in my place? If I had to investigate your elite's wrongdoings? Yeah. I'd probably look for those rich fucks' pedophile rings. Look for the assholes who mention pizza suspiciously often, see who has powerful friends in Manhattan jail, stuff like that. Come on. No, I'm serious. Search for the deep rot, and a lot of smaller crimes will get solved in the process. What is it with you and conspiracy theories? What do you mean? You just told me your bosses are having eyes wide shut parties, and suddenly you don't believe in rich people's pedophile rings? I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. My point is, you act as if all the conspiracy theories are real, like you can't possibly believe all that shit. Half of it doesn't even make sense. Well, you want an interesting answer or a real answer? The real answer should be more interesting. It should be the more interesting one. She removes her brush from my face to gather her thoughts. Everyone's lost nowadays. Just look at the world. It's drowning in facts that fail to cohere into a single convincing narrative or a story that resonates. The corporate media wants you to believe in empirical thinking, but it's always... fuck! It always fails to deliver moral or metaphysical truths, and the people desperately lack those. So what do? They turn to conspiracists. And suddenly, they're able to navigate the world. Why is that? Because conspiracy theories give them emotional truths that serve as a compass. Is Bill Gates trying to insert satanic microchips into my body? Probably not. I hope not. Now, is he a terrible person? No idea, but there's ample evidence that might be the case. It's in his ruthless business strategies, the company he used to keep, the philosophies he follows. People look at him and they feel he's fishy. So when the media present him as a genius or a savior, and I post that he wants to put the mark of the beast in my body, they choose to believe me. Because it makes moral, emotional, and metaphysical sense to them. And ultimately, that's what matters most. The end. Yes, thinking you have it all tacked down is what's most important to those people. Well, I mean, I get it, but... I don't buy it. Alright, but see, what does this mean? Like, I don't buy what she's selling, but I feel like this is tied to, yeah, I don't believe that's your reasoning being whatever, let's try this. I don't buy it, like, at all. But since it's you saying it, I'll say it's cute. Good enough for me. You came up with this monologue yourself? Oh no, I read it on Facebook. Ah, figures. But just to make sure, vaccines are okay. How very topical this game is. How edgy. Well, as far as I know, they don't cause autism. Good to hear. Anywho, I'm done. You're the best. Yeah, considering how many times I've done makeup on a dead body, I probably have enough job experience to be a mortician by now. That sounds like an exciting career, but in reality, it's probably the most boring thing under the sun. Yeah, I like my corpses talkative, pouty, and self-loathing. Shut up. This carcass will be leaving now. It's got a job to do. Go get him, Tiger. First thing I need to do, meet up with Kadir tonight and report to him. I hope he knows how to guide me out of this mess. He should have time for me in an hour or two. In the meantime, I suppose it's time to find some... What's the most dehumanizing word I could use here? Nourishment. Or cattle would be slightly more dehumanizing. Kadir told me I'd need to quench my hunger less often if I didn't smoke. It kills you, he said. But to start killing itself, your organism must pretend it's alive, and that uses up precious vitae. But I love cigarettes, the way they smell, the way they burn, the hot ash falling from the top, the sound of the lighter. The way they kill you, of course. And I guess I need some tactile connection to who I was back when I was alive. Okay, New York City, guide my steps. Show me which one of your children I should drink up tonight. Diva's Delight, isn't that the chick at the art gallery? A fitting name for a kiss addict audacious enough to openly pitch her unique taste to those in the know. I'm not in a clubbing mood, but since I need a feed, might as well give that rumor a shot. Or, Samira is asking me to meet her. If not for the ongoing celebrations, the patrician would prove an odd choice for a secret rendezvous. Here's hoping she can provide some useful insight into the case. Oh yeah, it's the fancy guy that we went through with the Tremere. Bunny as a reporter. The note left at my old dead drop point reads, Bunny as a reporter. Shit, could it be Woods? Long time no see. Is that the guy we put through a wall in the last game? What does... No, it was a different guy. What does one do when the ghost of Christmas past knocks on her door? Okay, well, we gotta go feed, so let's go feed. No blood, no matter how exquisite, is worth suffering through this noise. Something terrible must have happened to the previous DJ. It had to be sudden and unexpected for them to hire this amateur under the wire. Zero ability to read the crowd, no sense of flow, as if that constant flashing wasn't migraine-inducing enough by itself. Not that I remember how an ordinary headache feels. I know the hunger, though, which is why I'm here tonight. A purple-haired girl bumps into me, head down, tears flowing down her cheeks, hands trembling. As much as I'd understand it, I don't think it's the guy at the turntables that made her like this. Oof. Oh, sorry, that's a oof! As I just got bumped into. What the hell is wrong with your arm right now? Oh, I'm so sorry, She bolts before I can say a single word. Well, who am I to blame her? A tactical retreat probably felt like a good idea. Now who am I going to drink? A trace of cheap booze is every... A trace of cheap booze in every potential vessel is faint, but ever present. At this point, the smell is all I'm getting. Come to think of it, I can barely remember how alcohol tastes. Maybe I should remind myself. Nah, that's dumb. But the bar is pretty much free of people at the moment. I get closer and take a peek at the drinks menu. These are some goofy fucking names, especially from Kindred's perspective. Well, this isn't gonna help me though. I need a real drink. So, I mean, maybe if we sit here we get approached again or something. Okay, how about a Bloody Margaret? The bartender brings me a large glass garnished with a celery stick and filled with something that looks more like a veggie shot than a gin-based cocktail. I'm far from thrilled. Fuck it, here goes. I chug it down in one go. It tastes like canned tomatoes someone opened and left rotting for a decade. Something tells me I'm going to regret it soon. The music abruptly stops just as I step away from the bar. I can't see the booth, but the crowd's reaction tells me all I need to know. Looks like we have a new DJ. The vibe immediately improves. Hallelujah. But pleasant moments never last. Some well-worn dude on the wrong side of 40 decides to hit me up. Our eyes meet for a brief moment, slightly too late for me to outmaneuver him. Strangely, there's no lust in his gaze, and yet he seems like a predator closing in on its prey. Shit, could he be the rumored diva's delight? A kiss addict clocking me as a bloodsucker? Oh, I thought we were talking about the girl. Well-worn man, how come you're all alone here, sweetheart? I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but there's something irksome in the way he carries himself. As he approaches me, I begin to feel fatigued, like there is a sudden drop in atmospheric pressure. Is he Inquisition? Well, I mean, we haven't been using any of our abilities. We should have an intimidation ability, though. He's not going to go away. But we don't really want to interact, but we also don't want to just try and ignore him because he's not going to go away either way, so whatever. I give him a purely hateful glare, but I find it weirdly strenuous to keep my eyes on him for longer than a few seconds. There's something about him that ruins the little composure I have, and I think he knows that. I feel spiders crawling up my spine. Is there something wrong? Here, let me... Hands off, asshole. Well, I mean, I guess we have Dominate, but... Potence would be useful in this? Maybe? Do we want physical altercation, though? I can barely focus on his eyes, but he freezes in place for a moment. Hey, Stallion, how about you go bother that guy? He struggles with my chaotic command and gives me an unsettling look, but in the end he seems to do what I wanted him to do. He approaches some meathead who immediately turns hostile. The meathead's first punch breaks the guy's nose. I don't wait to see the second. As if meeting that asshole didn't strain me enough, an acrid feeling rises in my gut, instantly making me nauseous. I barely make it to the nearest empty lounge before I begin violently throwing up. For a minute straight, I spray the couch with the remains of that wretched cocktail. It's not a pleasant sight. I get a hold of myself as soon as my stomach empties. Shit, Julia, your life has had more than its fair share of avoidable embarrassments. Is it necessary for your unlife to follow suit? Time to bail and not look back. Right before I reach the exit, the purple-haired girl from earlier bumps into me once again. This time, I know it's not coincidental. Wait, please. She seems startled, but gives me a pleading look. I saw what you did to that man. Are you one of them? What are you talking about? Who's them? She bares her teeth and taps the side of her neck. Oh, I get it. So you're the Diva's Delight? She blushes innocently, like I just caught her stealing cookies. Yes, it sounds silly, I know, but I thought it would attract some of your kind. I've always been told I taste good. Would you like to try? She looks at me the same way a junkie who hasn't had his hit for a while looks at a syringe. You know too much. There's no way you don't have a patron of some sort. Her eyes tear up again. I do, but maybe I don't. I don't know anymore. Yeah, because if this is the same girl from the last time, maybe her patron was Sophie, and Sophie's dead. Oh, no, it's not. He shows up whenever he wants, then disappears for weeks. I don't even know his name. We were supposed to meet here tonight, but I guess he didn't show up. The girl keeps talking. Now that she's found somebody new to open up to, any instinct she might have had to remain secretive is gone. Makes you wonder who thought it was a good idea to breach the Masquerade for her. Before him, I used to have a caregiver. She was one of the divas, too. She was exceptional, noble. I think she cared about me, in a way. She always complimented the way I taste. Would you like a try? She wasn't talking about the last guy that we were. Well, no, she wouldn't, because she said he, and we had the option of being a girl in the last one. She clings to my arm like I'm Jesus Christ and Kurt Cobain at the same time, descended from heaven exclusively to turn her misery to bliss. I can't help but feel some disdain. Please, I promise you won't be disappointed. I know I won't be. I'm too hungry for that. But I also like to pretend I'm something better than hungry from time to time. Yeah, do it. The hunger gets the better of me, but somehow I don't mind. This is what she wants, isn't it? And besides, we know she's not going to be the bum like the last time, or any of the... Like, everyone in the last game had a problem with them when I fed. Quick look around. Nobody's paying attention. Why would they? We're just two random girls who seem to be into each other. I thought we found... place. I suppose you probably don't want to do this in the place you just threw up. I gently grab the back of her head and put my lips closer to her neck. She visibly trembles with excitement. As I bite down, her body softens. Then I drink, savoring each sip. She really tastes incredible, like an unfulfilled promise. Sweet, sweet innocence. As soon as I'm done, she loses her footing, weakened, but undoubtedly relieved. I help her sit down on the floor. She smiles at me, joy glinting in her eye. Thank you, that was... I really needed that. My name's... Don't talk. Just rest for a while. I leave her alone in this state of bliss. She doesn't seem to mind. It looks like I did the right thing. Right? I leave the booming sound of the club behind and get on with my night. Okay. So it's only the half night. Okay. So we have this guy. And we have this. This would push... So we'd be talking to Samira. I don't know, a slap on the wrist kind of implies that there's going to be something there. We could push this. This seems like it might be a side quest, but it might also gain me an ally who could help with my investigation, especially if he is, in fact, his own investigative journalist. Yeah, we'll think about it. Anyway, I'm going to end this one here. I will see you next time.